Hey, Damon DiMarco here for CreateX3.com, and today I have something incredibly important to tell you. If you've been watching my videos up to this point, you probably already have an inkling about what I'm about to tell you. People ask me all the time, how do you get from the beginning product, the idea in your head, to the finished product? And in particular, how do you keep pumping that stuff out? You know, if you're a professional writer, you don't really have the time or the luxury to not work. Somebody said to me once that writers have muses and professional writers have mortgages. This is very, very true. So how do you get past that point where you're just pumping stuff out left and right? It doesn't matter what the assignment is today, you're just gonna get it done. It's like you go to the calendar and you say, this needs to be done today. By this point, you get it done, you ship it out. Steve Jobs said, real artists ship. I believe in this as well. You might like Steve Jobs, you might hate him, you might be indifferent toward him, but take this wisdom to heart. Real artists ship. The way that you do that is you give yourself permission to be a terrible craftsperson. As Ernest Hemingway once reputedly said, the first draft of everything is shit. If you investigate that quote, you'll actually see that there's no evidence that he actually said that. He kind of might have said it to a person who wrote about it later on, so there's no direct linking of Ernest Hemingway to this quote. Nonetheless, it is true. It doesn't really matter who said it, it's true. You have to let yourself write poorly. That's the only way you're ever going to get anything decent done. If you're an actor, you have to let yourself act poorly. You do. You just got to let it all hang out. You just got to get it out there. If it's really, really bad, somebody will stop you and they'll say, that's pretty awful. And you can pull it back and you can say, yeah, I got it. Do you have any notes? And then they'll say, yeah, okay, do it this way. And you say, okay, no problem. However, it's only once we've given ourselves permission to cross that shit line that we're ever going to get anything done. You know who's really, really good at this whole dynamic? Kids. We put a smock on them. It's an old shirt or something like that, and we do that and we literally tell them, just make a big mess. I went to my one-year-old nephew's birthday party, and my brother and his wife agreed, we're gonna give him a cake, but we want to give him the liberty of smashing that cake or doing whatever it is that he wants to do with it, put it on his face, wipe the icing all over him like grease paint, whatever it is that he wants to do, because that's gonna give him that feeling of participating in this, and we don't want to throw any limits on it, we don't want to put any standards on it, and I thought that that was just brilliant. More kids should be raised to know that at a certain time it is okay. As a matter of fact, it is essential to make a big mess. And then at a certain time, later on, you go back through this big mess and you tighten it up and you ask yourself, what have I learned from it? You ask yourself, what can I best clarify and express from this big mess? You ask yourself, out of all of this stuff that I've got flying around in here, what is the one or two things that I can use that are very, very impactful? And at the end of the day, that's how you get good work done. All the time. Give yourself the permission to be shitty. Why do you think I write with a typewriter? I don't do finished drafts on a typewriter. I'm not crazy. I do, however, do my first drafts on a typewriter. Why? Because a typewriter is a mistake machine. It's not ever going to produce anything but the roughest draft possible. And so when I'm sitting down at a typewriter and I'm trying to get a short story out, here's a short story right over here that I just banged out. I literally had no idea where it was going. I just had a basic idea of the theme and the setting and the plot, and so I just, maybe this could happen and maybe this could happen. Actually, that's a stupid idea. I typed that right onto the page. That's a stupid idea. A better idea would be this way. As long as you just keep it going, you're having a conversation with yourself, and when you have a conversation with yourself, stuff that's actually quite good starts to rattle around in the noggin here and drop out. And later on, we have the ability to go through that first draft and say, nope, nope, no. Ooh, that's good, yes. Or, oh, right, okay, I can take that and I can work that in here and I can actually make the grammar work. That's all done in the editing phase. This is what I meant in an earlier video when I said, don't think. Creativity is not thinking. At this stage of the game, at the shitty draft stage of the game, fly by the seat of your pants, jot notes down if you're working by pencil or pen. If you're working by typewriter, type down anything that comes into your head. Just kind of throw it all onto the page. Leave it on the floor. Leave it there. Take it all from in here. Don't judge anything. Put it onto that page. It's a draft. Nobody's ever going to see it. And then later on, you go back and you say, who the hell wrote this? If I was trying to help this person out and try and make sense of it for them, what would I tell them? Well, I might take this sentence over here and move it over here. Actually, I buried the lead, so actually the first sentence is way down on paragraph 5. I'm going to bring that up to the top. That's the editing phase. I talk to clients all the the time, and they get like crazy about writing emails. It's an email. It doesn't have to be that crazy. You're making it be crazy because you're putting all this importance on top of it, and what does that do? You're putting pressure on yourself, and that's not appropriate pressure. The world is full of pressures out there already. You don't have to get in line to add more pressure to yourself. Give yourself permission to be really, really lousy as a writer, as a filmmaker, as a whatever, and then sleep on it. Wake up the next morning and say, coffee, do your routine, meditate, bring the kids to school, walk the dog, water the flowers, but then when you sit back down to the work, you got to look at it and say, okay, who wrote this again? Let's start fixing it. How many drafts is enough is another question that I get asked a lot. The ultimate answer is as many as it takes. However, for most tasks, right, an email or a draft of, I don't know, a white paper or whatever it is that you're writing, you should have a pretty good sense of it by draft number 3. If not, you might want to investigate whether or not you're being a perfectionist. Remember again what Steve Jobs said. I think it's a great quote. Real artists ship, meaning that at a certain point, you've got to get off the pot and you've got to let other people see what it is that you're working on. Hey, I'm in the middle of recording something. Can I call you right back?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So that's it for today. I hope that helped you. Please take this challenge to heart. Whatever it is that you're working on right now, it could be a piece of writing, it could be a sculpture, it could be a film. I don't know what it is, but you know what it is because you're a very creative person, and that's why you're watching this channel in the first place. Whatever it is you're working on, please care enough about it to do it poorly. Meaning, don't stop yourself, don't stifle yourself from doing something because you're being a perfectionist. Remember that perfect is the enemy of the good. Again, for CreateX3, my name is Damon DiMarco. Please hit subscribe, ring the bell, go to createx3.com, subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay creative.